Top 5 takeaways from Bionano's earnings report. Number 1, revenue is on track to fall in line with near 100% year-over-year revenue growth. 2021 analyst projection, according to Simply Wall Street, right? 16 million. We are in line because we got a 3.2 million revenue beating the 2.9 million revenue projection. We beat that, and to get this 2021 analyst projection, which would represent nearly a 90 to 100% year-over-year revenue growth, we need 3 to 4 million each year, or each quarter, excuse me. 3.2 million. Quarter one was the worst quarter for 2020. Now we're already beating it by a huge amount, 179% year-over-year revenue growth. Comparing it to last quarter one of 2020. So this is great news as far as the total 2021 revenue, and it certainly could be enough to get in line and stay and provide the other 3 quarters with a realistic chance of hitting the 2021 auspicious projection. Number 2, single nucleotide detection here. Basically, if you don't know this, optical genome mapping does 500 base pairs to mega base pairs. Long-range sequencing and next-generation sequencing are basically pretty direct competition, right? They do single nucleotide detection, typically up to 300 base pairs of structural variation detection. If Bionano could detect single nucleotides, it's over. Bionano is going to the moon. It's going to get all-time highs and triple them easily. We would make all, or at least pretty much all, long-read, short-read, and next-generation sequencers obsolete. But, of course, they didn't go outright and say that we're going to do this. No, of course not. They literally hinted to it, so don't get your hopes up. I mean, I don't think this is off the table. I certainly do not think this is off the table. But basically, they were talking about a patent, and they were talking about a use of the sapphire, I believe, if I remember correctly. And they were talking about single nucleotide detection not being out of the question, and something that maybe might happen in the future in regards to the sapphire's capabilities. But it's a hint, and it's an alluding. They did not. I wish I had a quote of them saying they're going to be able to detect single nucleotides. That would be nice, but it's just not true. So this is something to maybe look for in the future, which brings me to my next point, which is innovations. And that's something that we could obviously see the Sapphire 2.0 do potentially, or maybe Sapphire 5.0 or something down the line. So the innovations we've been talking about are absolutely confirmed. Not only are all 2021 milestones on track, which does include that 14 times higher throughput Sapphire, which will be increasing revenue by a ton, but we have another innovation that is not specifically tied to the Sapphire, but it actually is. It's not the Sapphire itself, but it's a product that you need to use the Sapphire. Increased speed of cloud computing solution by 30%, reducing cost to end user by 50%. So this is, I believe this is in regards to the software that they provide for analyzing the data and the samples that you get with the Sapphire. More innovation. The learning curve is, we're not even halfway on the learning curve yet for optical genome mapping. We're not even close. When you get an esoteric technology, the learning curve is not a couple months. It's not even a couple years. It's a long time, and then boom, spike up, and then it kind of levels up. And I believe, it's my belief that we have not even started on that spike really, just in regards to their innovation and knowledge of what they're actually working with here, because it's so damn complex and esoteric. That's the nature of the field. That's why the learning curve is going to be so huge. This is just one of many innovations that we're going to see. The kits, the consumables, the chips, the Sapphire itself, and detecting 500 base pairs, or maybe going lower to single nucleotides, right? That would be insane. Or even getting up down to the 300 base pair level. No one karyotyping cannot even detect 300 base pairs. All 2021 milestones are on track. That is a quote from them in their presentation. This is great news. I mean, there's no other way to say this, but everything is going according to plan with the 14 times higher throughput Sapphire. Acquisition speculation. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, this one is mostly speculation, but they did say this as well, but we're going to get into this in a second. But before that, this chief financial officer was asked in the Q&A about what they were going to use their new cash to actually do this quarter. What are they going to use it for, right? He said, he said strategic moves or strategic, I forgot, events or something. I forgot the exact wording, but he said strategic something. And the first thing that came into my mind was an acquisition, especially given that Lineagen has been such a worthwhile investment, given, there's still a lot of operating expenses from them, but we're getting heavy revenue boosts each quarter from them. Acquisitions are something that they can certainly do. They've got a lot of cash. Their debt has decreased, plus inquiries from India and several ex-US international countries as well. This is, the CEO said there were inquiries from several international companies and India. So in regards to, talking about the Sapphire's adoption, are they getting really penetration in outside markets? He said, yes, they've been in talks. There's been a lot of talk about the Sapphire deals. They're likely to come more. And also, to quote him, basically, he thinks a lot of people are going to switch over soon. There will also be 5 studies in 2021, apparently, right? So one of them is going to be a prenatal study, a postnatal study, a hematological malignancies study, along with and in regards to that one, there's leukemia, hematological malignancies in leukemia and lymphomas. And also tumor research as well. So those are the 5 studies that are coming this year, and also the date. Quarter 3 is going to be the prenatal, and fourth quarter is going to be the hematological malignancies for leukemia and lymphomas, and then the other ones I don't believe he specified a date. Wide range of institutions validating the potential markets of the Sapphire. You've got UCLA, you've got Duke, you've got Penn State, Children's Hospital, right? I mean, you got 1,000 of these things. You got Alzheimer's, you got ALS, you got, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that syndrome, pediatric leukemia, right? Epilepsy, all this stuff. These are markets that we don't even talk about, right? I mean, come on. What the heck does this even mean? All right, does anyone even know what this means? Tell me if you know what this means. These are markets that Bionano Sapphire will be able to at least penetrate slightly, most likely in the future, or at least potentially, right? Not necessarily, and we don't need Bionano Sapphire to penetrate all these markets, of course, but it's just more opportunities to provide breakthroughs and revolutionizing healthcare in structural variations detection, understanding of disease, providing a more crucial information in regards to enhancing whatever solutions that are already previously we have. You know, enhancing those, like the chemotherapeutic drug enhancements, like for example that we had an article a couple weeks ago, right? Stuff like that. Not necessarily, taking up all these markets, but it's bullish nonetheless. Business model is in a more auspicious position, right? Lineagen plus the rental regent program plus sales. I actually want to talk about this one first. So the rental regent program, basically they rent the Sapphire out. It's not as much money, right? The customers save a little bit of money, but basically it's not the most auspicious for their revenue, obviously. We want actual sales. And when asked about the sales from this, right, of institutions trying the rental regent program just to get a feel for the Sapphire, they said, quote, at least one customer from the rental regent program converted into an actual full customer. So that's not really what you want to see, but it's great that a lot of people are, a lot of them are actually trying out the Sapphire, potentially switching over. And the more people that have Sapphire in their institutions, the better, because I think in the aggregate, the more we have, the more we'll make, right? More revenue, more sales, more actual switchovers we'll also get. Lineagen, right? So this quarter, most of the revenue beat here, we got 3.2 million beating the 2.9 million revenue estimate. Well, they attributed a lot of that to Lineagen, again, similarly to the last quarter. And they also talk about the immediate impact, right? Lineagen adds new revenue streams to help support growth of the combined business. So it's just more stable revenue, more increases. It's just great news. I mean, there's no other way to say this part. New applications in prenatal testing, cancer research and development. This is a quote from them, and what new applications mean specifically is up in the air. Now, I will tell you, if we go up here, and if I actually just Control F and go to new applications, basically the CEO is on record. This is a direct quote. If you copy and paste this into Google, I also have all my sources at the bottom of this 78-page document. But basically, when asked about total addressable market, right, the CEO thinks a $3 to $3.5 billion total addressable market is actually super low because it's substantially larger, because some of the applications haven't even been developed. Others are still on the come. Now, what does applications actually mean? Products, innovations on their products, and markets to sell those products to. That's what I think. I mean, come on, how else do you construe that? But that is what he means. Innovation is still left to come. Total addressable market and serviceable obtainable market, currently nothing compared to what it's going to be, in the CEO's words, essentially. They kind of alluded to FDA approval and how Sapphire is research only currently. They like to say the Sapphire is research only, which is actually somewhat bullish, because the fact that we're getting so many sales with just research only, right? Technically, you can perform prognosis, which is treatment of something basically, and diagnosis with the Sapphire if your institution, laboratory, clinic, hospital, whatever it is approved for laboratory developed tests. You can do that all. You don't need. We have already talked about how you don't really necessarily need FDA approval. We have an entire section in the 78-page document available for PDF download. I'll put a card on the top right for the video that you can go do that. I'll also link the video in the description and the pinned comment. It's not necessarily needed. FDA approval is not necessarily needed, but it would be something that was good to have, and they do allude to getting that in the future, kind of, I would say. And it's just good news that we are getting so many sales and so much revenue with just research and development uses technically only. Also, a huge international market. According to the CEO, the exact numbers are basically 50% of the customer/market is in the US right now, 25% is going to be in Europe, and then the other 25% is roughly going to be just international countries besides Europe. So basically what this tells me is that the Sapphire is not just, it's not just for, oh, the marketing is so good, we're just, if you want to make that argument, oh, it's got connections, people are buying in the US. More than half of the market of Bionano and the customers are international right now. I think the international market is going to be huge. The domestic market is going to be huge. Both of them are going to be huge because not only is there a legit niche for the Sapphire, but their goal, Chief Financial Officer, and all of them, right? I'm quoting all of them when I say this. The goal of Bionano is global Sapphire adoption, quote. If you like to read the rest of this 78-page document, we cover the financials, the market's catalyst, and at the end, we actually get to my plan and how I'm trading this and what my shares are, what we're doing, right? There's actually my position as of 5/1 or whatever this was made, right? So 5/1. All this market manipulation, Sapphire 2.0 is Simon Barnett. Why is ARK not investing, right? Everything that you can imagine is covered in this video. It will be in a card in the top right at some point, linked in the pinned comment. Institutional ownership is up a dramatic amount. We're going to have a whole video explaining this because I cannot explain this in just one video. I think we need a whole video dedicated to it. But make sure you vote for the annual meeting. We actually do need to vote on this to avoid the, if they don't have at least 50% of the vote here, they don't get a majority, they may have to actually do a special vote that costs more money, and that would increase their operating expenses. So please, everyone needs to go vote here. All you got to do is check your email, and or you can do it this way. There's 1,000 different ways here. You can check. I'll link this in the description as well. It's the little, it's the filing explaining everything. It's an absolutely humongous document for something as trivial as what is it? Let's see if I can find the actual, what are you voting on? It's election of directors and ratification of this thing to serve as the company's independent registered public accounting firm for the fiscal year, right? So it's nothing big. They want you to vote yes, I believe. I voted yes for both. So go do that. Go do your part. Go vote for that, boys. Portfolio showcase and current positions. I'm gonna get this done tonight. I'm gonna make this promise. I am gonna get this done tonight. I'm gonna work till freaking midnight if I have to. I'm gonna get the new price targets, at least for the month out price targets done. Current positions. I show my current positions regardless of if we're down, if we're up, whatever it is. There's my current positions. Take a screenshot of my portfolio. Pause it right there if you want to see exactly what I'm invested in. There you go. If you'd like to use that broker, I have a link in the description if you want free styles. Quick plug. Anyway, relevant information in regards to title is finished now. What does auspicious dissenT actually mean, though? Favorable to succeed, unpopular opinion. Current positions, we already talked about that. It's going to be done. The June price targets are going to be done soon. Upgrades are on the way. Yes, the revenue has been increasing actually somehow on the channel. We get more than 0 viewers nowadays somehow. Last few days at least, we'll see that keeps up. But basically, we're getting the camera, we're getting the monitor, and we're getting better lighting and maybe better audio. I think the audio is pretty sweet right now, pretty sick. But yeah, we're getting upgrades nonetheless. Anyways, this is not financial advice. Thank you all so much, man. Congratulations to everyone who held through Bionano today and added on the dip today. I doubled my position here. I had 600 shares this morning. I now have 1,000 shares, more than 1,000 shares actually. But anyways, this is not financial advice. Thank you all so much. I'll see y'all in the next one.